There's no question about that. And we're looking forward to, I know the weather is hit at a tough time, but we're really looking forward to a great crowd tomorrow night with a lot of energy. It's a rare Saturday night game for us this season. And we're excited to play it. And I think we've had a couple of days to really get ourselves in a position where we're just going to completely focus on getting better, completely focus on improvement. And that's exactly what we've done. I think our guys from the other night, they knew they didn't play the way they were capable of in the second half. They haven't needed a lot of reminders on that. They've come out with great energy and focus and resolve. And we've got a couple of really good days to prepare for this game. And now it's a quick slot of games again when we've got a Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. And that's why, again, no matter when it is with this team, we've just got to completely stay locked into what our improvement's like, because they are very young, they are very inexperienced. There's not a great understanding of what it takes yet to win. How would it, with the road? It was our first real road game. But bottom line is we're trying to stay focused on the things that we can control, and they can control how much better they're getting every day with the way that we practice. So that's been very, very good for us.
How is that, I guess, just that recognition manifested itself in practice that they didn't need to be told?
Oh, I think that you can just read it in people. They're ready to go. I mean, there's not a great deal of experience here, but there's a lot of hunger. And I think when you have a group of guys that are hungry, they want to get right back at it. So I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, the other night was a lot of different things for us, but at the end of the day, it was the first game, true road game, and the second half we played like that. And now it's just a matter of really moving forward from it, being that much better after going through it the next time we're faced with that situation, but we can't do anything about that. And again, I mean, with a young team, you constantly got to stay in the moment. You stay too far behind, or if you get too far ahead, you're gonna screw them up. And the bottom line is we've got to stay locked into making sure what we've always wanted the mantra of this program to be, which is to max out the day, get better every day with it, and that's exactly what they're trying to do.
How much do you think going on the road in an environment like that so early?
Did you wear those Syracuse colors on purpose, or that just worked out that way?
That just worked out.
Okay, I'm joking. Say it again.
Do you think that having a road test like that in a hostile environment could help them a lot down the road?
Well, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But again, we're moving right on into the next game, so hopefully that'll come back to help them when you play in an environment like that, when we get into those environments again, which we will here shortly with the Big Ten.
You obviously you weren't too pleased with the leadership, you said, after that game. Just how did you kind of convey that to some of the older guys, I guess, Will, et cetera, and how did they kind of react to that specifically?
I don't think I've had to. I think everyone's well aware from the post-game locker room to the way that we played inside that everybody realized they're capable of more. And so again, there's not been a whole lot of time spent on rehashing or regrouping from Tuesday. It's really been a lot more about this is what we need to do to be better and staying locked into that. And when you have a young team and you've got a certain amount of hours to work inside of that, it's very important that you stay with exactly what they need. And sometimes it's watching film, sometimes it's watching what it looks like when you're not good, sometimes it's looking at what you do when you are good, but mostly it's just about staying locked into getting better. We've got a group. They're a prideful group. I mean, so it doesn't matter what their age is. They want to be successful. So that's the way that it was. And now we're moving forward to see if it can be we can get better from that. And I know we're capable of that. I think everybody else does too. That's in the program.
What do you need out of Will and Jeremy between now and the start of Big Ten season?
I don't know. I'm just focused on tomorrow night, Jeff. Seriously, I mean, you can't. I'm just talking about that. If we start jumping too far ahead, even mentally, now improvement, absolutely. I mean, do percentages need to go up? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could pinpoint all kinds of things, but that would get us out of the realm of what's most important is that they got better the last couple of days and that they're even better tomorrow night.
After watching film on Tuesday night, was there one thing you could pinpoint? Or
We just moved on. I'll cover it again. I mean, I'm trying to be good with this, but we're moving forward. I mean, if I wanted to pinpoint one thing, it'd be what I've pinpointed in the past, from the other night, we had too many turnovers at the worst time. And we can't string those together like we did. So, but that's just all part of the learning process. But again, as I've said, I mean, the bottom line is, are we trying to learn from that and move it forward? And I know that sounds kind of trite, but it's really true, and that's what you're always trying to do. And this group, as they don't have, as a group, very much to fall back on, okay, and to look back to and say, it's one thing to say, okay, we got a couple of guys that played that past. Well, this team hasn't played together in the past. They haven't been on the road like that. So you can't spend too much time in that realm. I mean, you got to move right back out. You can't let, a short-term result, short-term setback carry you into the next realm. I mean, you got to look at this thing. We got to get better long-term. Well, the best way we do that is to make sure that individually we walk out of each day saying they got the most out of it.
What are some things you want to see guys do tomorrow night against North Florida? What are some?
Well, North Florida is very creative offensively. They run great stuff. Matt Driscoll's an excellent coach, a great background, and they pose different challenges. They run a lot of pick and rolls. They run a lot of screening actions. The biggest thing to me is guarding the dribble, probably on the defensive end, because they isolate very well. They'll run some actions and then get it swung to the wing and corner and try to drive it, but they've got good balance with their scoring. They really offensive rebound. So I would say that we're going to have to do a really good job of defensive rebounding. There's some personnel keys that we've got to be completely locked into. And again, that's very hard for young guys that haven't done that over a period of time of saying, okay, we're going to take this away from this person, that away from that person, these couple of things. And older teams are better with that. We're still trying to learn that, but there's some of that for tomorrow night. So, and then I would say offensively, we don't want to slow down at all. If anything, we want to play faster. And we didn't play very fast the other night in the second half especially, but we've got to take care of the ball better. The decision-making's got to be better.
Go ahead. After what Cooney was able to do, shooting the ball, do you have any extra emphasis on Dallas Moore, the freshman, that's been pretty good from the team?
We have emphasis on all shooters and scores, really every night. It's not anything that really changes. You pinpoint who the best shooters are, you pinpoint where they get their shots, you pinpoint how you get their shots, and how they get their shots, and you try to do a really good job of that.
What impresses you about them from a personnel standpoint when you look at them? What are those guys, what stands out?
Beach to me is a tremendous shooter. It seems like the bigger the game, the more fearless he is. So we've just characterized him to our team. They get great movement. I think if you can't spend so much time on this team with all their different sets and actions, it's really got to be, this really will be a great experience for these guys of really grasping, okay, there's a lot of concepts that we've got to be attached to here. And if we try to overwhelm them with, we've got to know these 3 plays and these 5 actions here and all that's going to be too much right now, and too much for these guys. But personally, but concept-wise, it's very important that we understand their spacing. It's very important that we know the shooters. It's very important that we understand what we want to do in the ball screen coverages. Transition defense is going to be paramount. Again, there's constants with that. We knew one of the biggest things about Cooney the other night, going back to that, was how loose he gets in transition. Well, we let him get loose a couple times. Those are mistakes. You can't let those things happen. And those are the same things. We just move right on to the next game and say, okay, we can't let this guy get free here. We can't let that guy get free there. And I think that's the biggest thing. But they were down 18 in Florida, came back, cut it to 4. They played in a lot of big games. I think that's one of the, they've got a lot of experience now being in some tough environments, like Florida, like Ohio State, like Alabama. And I know they go to Michigan State after this. So those are the biggest things. But I mean, we're not trying to inundate, but at the same time, guys are learning. There's a lot that goes into these games, and that's where the reminders and the communication and the echoing throughout the night, those things are really huge, and that we have to make big improvements there.
Going back to leadership a little bit, what do you think that's supposed to look like going forward for you guys? What should leadership look like?
Oh, I think the bottom line is ongoing communication. I think what happens, and every team goes through it, and this was the first time for this team to go through it. We got down, we were making mistakes with the ball, we weren't making shots, okay? Because we got away from what was working, and we got away from, it was tied at 33, and we took a couple of threes that we didn't need at that point. We didn't get back the way we needed to. We didn't start the second half with the energy and the communication, like I said the other night, that it needed to be. So really, you have high expectations for your upperclassmen, the ones that have been through it. There's no doubt about that. But it's far more than just being on one or two people. The communication is on all five on the floor. And we've got to stay true to that. And we've got to play lineups that are going to bring that defensive energy, that are going to bring that defensive alertness, because it just made a point to our team. Casey Prater in the first game gets 28 points, and the commentators are talking about the great job he's doing defensively. It doesn't matter who you are. You do get a lot better offensively when your defensive energy is at a high level. Most guys that come in focusing on scoring become shooters. Most guys that are focused on being complete players become scorers. And I think that win. You know, when you break down the winning, there's a lot of guys can make shots and they're not winning games. But when you're a scorer, when you're somebody that really impacts the game on the offensive end, well, you're going to put a lot into it on the defensive end too. Well, for us right now, it's that communication. And it's that growing through the process of not letting your confidence waver, not letting yourself get down, not letting the woe is me can't kick in when you're not making shots. And for young teams, that's the hardest thing for them to get over. And we dealt with it the other night. There's no question about it.